Hey guys, I'm Helena. So I'm back from Bayreuth. I'm so sorry that I didn't manage to make a video while the ring was still playing. I originally wanted to go out in the second intermission of Götterdämmerung and then make another video about what's been going on. But it was too cold. It was really, really absurdly cold and I was not dressed for that. Despite me having brought rain dresses, warmer dresses, I chose to not use any of them, but yeah, stupid. Anyway, it was really too cold for me to go out and it was also raining and yeah, it wasn't really the way to go, so I'm doing this today. I wanted to do this closer to my ring, but today's I think already the second ring is already on the way. And yeah, I think today's Valkyrie and on Friday there's Siegfried. I think so. I'm not sure. So anyway, we're gonna start off with, well, I think I bought a few postcards of the production so you can see what we're dealing with. So we have this postcard. I think that's supposed to be Wieland Wagner. Not sure. Also, if you're asking yourselves, wait, this is an actual picture of the production. Where are the singers? Oh, they're there. They're here. You see them? This is Mime. I know him because I know the costume by now. And this is Siegfried. And this is what you see as an audience member. Yeah, just saying. So this is one of them. Then this is the second one. Again, if you're asking yourself, where's anyone? Here's Mime. Here he is. Yay. And you actually see him. I think that lots of people, especially behind the scenes, didn't think they would be seen. So they kept their acting minimally. I don't know. But you see them. And this is the third one. This is actually my favorite picture out of these three. They only had those three, by the way. And what annoys me about this is that it just says the ring. It's here on the back. It just says 150 years, yada yada yada, the ring. Which is come on, at least tell us who's honest. I mean, with the other two, it's relatively easy. I think there's Michael Volle, who plays Wotan. I think this is from Rheingold. I'm not sure. Can't say. Really, I have no idea. It might be Rheingold. I don't know. So yeah, these are the postcards, just in case you were wondering what this thing looks like. This whole thing, which is the program, it also has these great pictures in the middle. So yay. This is what we saw, basically. Yeah. Also, just showing you this, because, obviously. Yeah. There, she signed. She kept her signature relatively little. She could have, taken up more space. But she herself said, I'm gonna keep this, next to Rheingold, and I was out of it. Let's be real. I was so out of it. Honestly, if you would have put Patti LuPone or Taylor Swift or Mariska Hargitay in front of me, I would have been less surprised and less shocked to see her. Just saying. Anyway, I have two of those because this is gonna burn with me at the end of my life. Okay, so anyway. Do I do the merch now or do I do the merch later? I think I'm gonna do it later. Just let's go on. So you heard my critique of Rheingold and Valkyrie. Now you're getting it of end of Valkyrie and Siegfried and Götterdämmerung. Yeah, Valkyrie didn't become much better. It was in the end, instead of, I don't know, maybe they can't sit with these costumes or can't lay down or anything like that. It was weird. Okay, so when Brunhilde was supposed to sleep, she stood like this till the end, basically. That was her sleeping. And there was a very weird, was it even fire? It was red and yellow thingies on the projection, I don't know. It was very weird. Didn't look like what I expected, but well, what did at this point? Okay, so Valkyrie was like, yeah. But then Siegfried came, and Siegfried was much better, because apparently someone had told the AI, please do it a little bit slower. At least for the first act, like the second and third were, yeah, well. But in the first act it was a little bit slower, and with Gerhard Siegel back came the thing that they acted, especially along with Klaus Florian Vogt, who really, he carried this thing, okay? He carried it. He was the first one to even act in Rheingold. He acted through in Valkyrie, he acted through in Siegfried, he acted through in Götterdämmerung. He was the GOAT in this one, okay? So apart from the music, obviously, I heard a lot of people say, like, without Christian Thielemann, not worth it. But like on stage, the one who carried this thing was Klaus Florian Vogt. He was really, really great. But again, Gerhard Siegel, I think I'm gonna go through like this person by person. I think I should have my Siegfried pamphlet here somewhere. No, this is Rheingold. This is Götterdämmerung. I know Siegfried somewhere. Here. So this is just in case you don't know what this looks like. This is like the thing where you can see everything. This is like the whole musikalische Leitung, yada yada yada, and here's the persons. So just to be sure that I don't forget anyone. Yeah. Okay, let's like go through with it. Klaus Florian Vogt, again, he's wonderful. He may not have that bit of steel that I personally would like in a Siegfried, but I have seen his first Siegfried like 2 years ago. I've literally been there in the audience for the very first time he sang Siegfried, and in Bayreuth as well. So I appreciated how much work he put into this role, how much better he was. It also wasn't his production like Schwarz. This is not him. He's not the guy who goes into a home for the elderly and kicks off some old guy's crutches. It's not him. It's Andreas Schager, okay? It's Schager, okay? But it's not Vogt. He's not very believable in this. So this more hero-esque Siegfried is more his style. Again, personally, I like a bit more steel in his voice, but still, I mean, he's magnificent. He's wonderful. Okay, then we have Mime, Gerhard Siegel. Again, he's so great, he's so wonderful. He's a big part of why, like, I've told you about this in my perfect ring, why the Siegfried from the Met, from the Metropolitan Opera, is my perfect Siegfried, because he plays Mime and he plays him so well. And it's not only the physical acting, because there's less of this in this production than at the Met, naturally, but also his voice. What I found was really sad was that there was no laughter after this line where he says, "Ich will dem Kind nur den Kopf abhauen," which is normally a banger, okay? Because Siegfried is basically saying, Siegfried knows that Mime wants to kill him, okay? And Mime is like, no, why do you misunderstand me? I just wanna murder you, come on. Why do you keep misunderstanding me? I just wanna hack off your head. I don't wanna evil. So it's really funny, or you know, not when I say it, but it's really funny originally, and he also made it very funny, but hardly anyone laughed, which is sad. I think that there was also a lot of people who were just asleep, like the guy next to me. He was sleeping. I'm just gonna be really honest. He like kept snacking into me throughout this, but anyway. Okay, next. Der Wanderer, Michael Volle. he got to his groove, okay? He was really, really great in Siegfried. I know I was like, before, just because, again, this is personal preference. There's nothing wrong with his Wotan, there's nothing wrong with his Wanderer. Personally, considering what Wotan does throughout this thing, I'd like to see a Wotan who seems capable of all of this. We're talking about a guy who's basically goddess trafficking, who's like, I want to have this building so bad that I'll give them my sister-in-law, plus mythologically the sun and the moon. And who later is like, oh, I need a grandson who's very much me. How about I have twins and then have them hook up? And then later who says, oh yeah, the ring has a curse. How about my grandson takes it and then gives it to my daughter so they all get cursed and we all can die together? I like to see that. That's, again, personal preference. I like to have like a Cerberus Turtle who seems very capable of that. If you have ever seen him as Scarpia, we know what he's capable of, okay? There is a little bit of... There is a little bit of... How should I put this? I don't know. For me personally, Michael Volle, now, like, this is not a great production, okay? Like, I'm sure that if I saw him in a proper production, which I have not, this would be different. I personally, he gave off to me in Rheingold and Valkyrie, he gave me more of the father figure. He gave me more of like a König Marke or like a Hans Sachs. This is what he gave me personally. And I like to have a little bit of something there, you know, a little bit that makes us think, oh, he's capable of a lot. Yeah, but that's just personal. And again, he's a great singer, he's wonderful, he was a really, really great wanderer, and he got around to acting in Siegfried more than he did in Valkyrie and Rheingold. So this was a great thing. I don't know what happened between Valkyrie and Siegfried. Maybe they just met up and said we're gonna act from now on, but it worked, honestly. So then Alberich, also much better than in Rheingold. More like, this has to be on one level, you know? Like, it has to be on one level. Alberich and Wotan, they have to be on one level. And if one of them is much weaker than the other one, then it's not gonna work. Also, I'm so sorry, it's really hot. I like opened the curtains so that the light is better, but it also makes it very hot in here. So yeah, Alberich, yeah, said that. Fafner, also great, has the disadvantage of not being like the worm. Like, there was no worm. At least they were like, I think they are from Kastorf. The like little alligators, they were on the screen. That was nice. We're thankful for everything, for anything at this point. Then Erda, Christa Meyer, I mean, what do I have to say about her? She's great. She's my favorite. I love her deeply. She's the reason why I went into the Schwarz-Ring so often. Not that I didn't love the production, I loved the production, but she specifically, she was just fabulous. And what I loved about her Erda and about her in general is that she reacts. And this is a big one, okay? So normally we've got this scene where Wotan's coming in and he's like, Erda, can you help me? I'm probably about to die, you have to help me stop a rolling wheel, basically. He wants her to stop this, and she's like, why are you awakening me? Come on. There's the Norns that are my daughters. Come on. There's Brunhilde, who's my daughter. You could ask any of them, why do you have to wake me? I've been having a nice nap. And Wotan's like, yeah, the Norns can't help me because they can't actually do anything. And as for Brunhilde, oh yeah, hate to break it to you, but Wotan, he kind of made her nap too. Like, she's been sleeping for over a decade. She's waiting for some guy to wake her up and then make her his wife. Like, shit happens, and most Erdas in this moment are like, okay. And Christa Meyer is not. She's the mother, okay? She's Brunhilde's mother, and she acts that way. She doesn't just act like she's Erda, the goddess, basically, and who sees everything, but she's really being the mother. She's outraged. She has a range of emotions. She's really fighting with him, and I love that, and that's what I loved always about her, because even if she's not the center on stage, as in most of the attention will go to her in a scene like, for example, in the Schwarz-Ring, when the giants come and they have a talk with Wotan and with Loge, even then she still acts. And there's more than enough singers, unfortunately, who are like, I'm not the center of attention, I'm just gonna stand here and wait till I can sing again. And she never does that. And I appreciate that, and it's so hot. Oh god. She never does that, okay? She always acts through it. She always reacts as if it's the first time she hears it. This has been the same, like in the Schwarz-Ring, when Wotan says, yeah, you're not getting Freya, girl. You can forget that. And she's like, didn't I tell you? Like, he rules, basically. And that's what I love about her. She's not only a great singer, but she's also a great actress. So, anyway. Then Brunhilde, Camilla Nyland. I have never heard that Ewig war ich, ewig bin ich. That beautiful moment. I've never, ever in my life heard that as beautiful as she sang it. It was absolutely wonderful, and I must admit I cried a bit. Also, by the way, we had a hug. We had a hug in Valkyrie. Wotan and Brunhilde hugged, which was great, and like the first hug in the whole thing. And there was at least something, and we're really grateful for everything at this point, for anything at this point. So Camilla Nyland, she was great. There was not much love in this scene, because why should it? There was also like the logo of the RAF in that. We also before had like, during Wotan and Erda, we had, I think, like a picture that was close to the death of JFK, with him and Jackie sitting in the car, and like you recognize the outfit Jackie wears from later photos when she's like covered in blood, covered in his blood. And this was also in there. Like we had a lot of Hitler again, had a lot of the Third Reich. We had a lot of, what did we have? The German Emperor, the German Kaiser. It was just a lot, all in all. Unfortunately, like the usual stuff. But the AI can't really do anything about it, but I'm gonna talk about that later. But it's really just annoying at this point. You would just want to relax, listen to this beautiful music, listen to those wonderful singers, and then you see the logo of the RAF, and with this giant gun. Like, why? Come on. Just why? I mean, I get what you're trying to do, but it's not working. Anyway, it was really annoying. So, next one. The forest bird, Victoria Random. She is the sweetest girl alive. I want to go shopping with her, okay? So I want to go shopping with her. I want to have her to be my best friend. She's wonderful. She's so cute. So what they did is they have like this thing up and not on the roof, but not on stage, but like where they have the lights and stuff. And she was standing there, so she was not on stage. And from there she sang, and she sang so beautifully. Like, understanding of the words was a bit of a miss, I have to say, because she had a lot of like trillers and stuff. but it was still so beautiful. And when she came on stage, she was so cute. Also, she had the biggest costume of them all, which I think they had to put on her after she came down, because I've seen this where they are up there. I've seen this in a clip on YouTube actually. I think this was also shown in Tristan and Isolde from 2015 when Christa Meyer, yeah, we're not getting rid of her, okay? When she sang Brangäne, and it was the Katharina Wagner production. And I think this was the same place where Christa Meyer was also, in this, I don't know, box or something, where you're like literally 3 steps away from falling. Falling down, and this is really difficult. And she had, again, the most difficult costume of them all, because she had giant wings and she literally couldn't go out straight, like when she came out to bow. I really loved that she got a costume, because again, my first ring was the Met Opera ring that I watched on DVD, and there the poor bird, she only came out like in this very simple black dress, and like she had a little green feather pinned on, and I felt so sorry for her that she didn't get a costume, even though she had just done such a good job. And Victoria Random got a costume. She's really, really sweet. She's really cute, and everyone seemed to love her. Like the guys, they were like completely happy with her, and this is sweet. She seems like a very, very nice lady. So this was Siegfried. Again, there was nothing really, not during at least. Like, the funny thing was, afterwards, when they went out to bow, like Klaus Florian Vogt and Camilla Nyland, they hugged, they looked at each other as if the other one had hung the star in the moon. And I was like, yes, we would have needed this 2 minutes ago. Come on, give us something. It's there. It's not like they don't have chemistry, because they do have chemistry. They're great together. They look at each other like, again, they hung the star in the moon. This is not getting better. They have great chemistry together. They apparently, they have a friendship. I don't know. They get used to each other. It's great. But it was not there before, unfortunately. It was only when they bowed, and yeah, we have to be happy with everything we get. I have like made photos of this, took photos of this, and I might like include them at the end. What I'll also include for all of our personal gain, I especially took a video of, I think that was the second bow of Christian Thielemann, and afterwards the team behind this. I don't want to say shit, but it is what it is. And when they bowed, so you just see the difference. I think it was supposed to end. No, this is Rheingold. Götterdämmerung, here it is. I think it was supposed to end at, oh yeah, at 10:30. Like I saw on the internet, it was supposed to end at 10:20. We got out at like 10:55. So this is how long people clapped. Like Christian Thielemann, he was over it. I sit in the second row, so I see him. I saw him very closely, and he was so over it. I think he just wanted to go home at one point when he like had to go out for the 10th time. But anyway, I took a video. I took a longer video as well, like of the separate people bowing. But that won't really help you because, well, the costume don't say anything really. You would literally, unless you like know their faces, you don't know. Just saying it how it is. Okay, good. Let's go on with Götterdämmerung. Again, same thing. Götterdämmerung, here's like the history of how it became to be, and then this. By the way, I think this is a scam, personally. Last year or the years before, whenever you got like this thing, they would ask you, oh, are you coming back for every day? And then you would get like a little thing where it was like a voucher for this, to get this every day. I actually may have like taken one with me illegally and bought this then myself for €1 because I like this little voucher thingy. But this year you have to buy this, okay? Like, this is 4 extra euros, okay? This is mean. But anyway, let's get through this. Siegfried, Klaus, Florian, Vogt. Great, wonderful. Thought at some points that he wouldn't make it. There is like the oath scene where in the original, first Siegfried, he takes the spear and then he says, I've never slept with this woman without my sword in between us, which is this friendship thing. I have a long history. It's fine. And then Brunhilde takes over the spear and she takes it and she says, he slept with me without the sword in between us and he perjured himself. Yeah, this was, and I don't want to be mean, but this was one of the more weak scenes that those two had. I don't know, maybe it was because of the music was too loud for them, so they couldn't get over it. But it was compared to other productions, other singers that I saw. For example, my favorite Götterdämmerung, which is the Götterdämmerung with Siegfried, Jerusalem and Anne Evans. It was a bit weak. And like, I mean, these are beasts of roles, okay? So there's no shade. And these are beasts of roles and they get through it and I could never, and I'm really an unqualified opinion of this. But it was a bit weaker than I would have hoped for. Just saying. So next one, Gunther, Michael Kupfer-Radetzky. Kind of a disappointment, but he was a disappointment because I saw him in the Schwarz-Ring and he already sang Gunther there. And I loved this Gunther, okay? I loved this Gunther who was like sniffling some drug from his hand and who was completely high and who had this t-shirt on with like, who the fuck is Grani, and who had his long, like, oily, pale yellow hair, like bleached, obviously bleached because he had like dark roots, but we talked about this. I remember him, okay? So this was more of a traditional Gunther. More of the kind of like, oh yeah, I think the only way I could get a wife is by having some random dude drink a love potion to make him fall for my sister, so he has to get along with me and then I can make him go to there and then rape this woman so I can have her. Yeah, this is more of the Gunther that he gave me, unfortunately. But again, this isn't his fault, this is the production. It was just a very dominant Gunther last year, and this year it was not. He couldn't. I know he can act, come on people, but he wasn't really allowed to, and that I was very sad about that, for him and for us too. But again, like, as a singer, great, wonderful. Like, this is Bayreuth. This is not like any like stage somewhere. These are the best singers they can get, okay? The best singers they are. So, he's a great Gunther. Alberich, Jochen Schmeckenbecher, we just had him. Great, wonderful. Could have been a bit more evil. I'm just gonna say it. Like, both Alberich and Wotan, they were a little bit too little evil, personally. Then Hagen, Mika Kares. I mean, we know him. I know him from last year, okay? I've seen him before. He's a great Hagen. He was a great Hagen again. His hoi-ho. Damn, I'm gonna have nightmares of this. He was great. Also, it's good for him that Hagen is not a role that moves that much. So just by his imposing figure, I don't know how tall this man is, but now that I've met Christa Meyer, and she is taller than me in these heels, okay? So she's at least 1 meters 80, and Mika Karis is much taller than her, okay? And I think she wore flats on stage. So she's like 180, and she's, I don't know, for him until here or something. So he's gotta be 2 meters. Damn! Like, I'm gonna have nightmares of this guy, okay? He was such a great Hagen. It was absurd. Brunhilde Camilla Nyland, wonderful, but same problem as with Klaus Florian Vogt. I didn't think she would make it. That was the Oath scene, which was, unfortunately, but this is also production. Like, this is production, guys, okay? Could have been stronger, could have been more hatred. Like the scene before, when she sees Siegfried and she's like, oh, there's my guy. Wait, why doesn't he not know me anymore? What the fuck? He's wearing the ring. By the way, they faked this ring wonderfully. Like, there wasn't a ring, obviously, because why would there be? They've never, like, included a ring in anything before Götterdämmerung, but, like, right then he was like, at the prologue, he was like, I will give you this ring! He was like doing nothing back on her finger, but they did something, and she was like, oh, this is wonderful. At least they tried something. Also, like, there was at least a this is so horrible. We're really happy with anything at this point. Like Mika Karis, he like pushed, I don't know, he pushed Siegfried in the back when he was supposed to kill him. Also, I didn't even realize when Gunther died. I didn't realize that. He just went off, and I was like, then a few minutes later I was like, shouldn't he die? Was there something? And I completely missed that. He just went off. Anyway. Camilla Nyland, again, I didn't think she would make it. It was the same. Like, there are some times, I'm gonna be really careful with that, because obviously, again, these are beasts of roles. Kudos to everyone who even attempts that, and to everyone who manages to sing that. But I sometimes there are roles where, you know, this and this is the moment where I have to do this, okay? That's my banger. I had this in a musical recently where I went that was Rudolph, and we didn't have the original Stephanie, unfortunately. We had like the second one, and for her it was very obvious which of the songs she trained more. And the first one she completely just screamed straight out, and the second one she was better, also screamed, but she was much better, and you noticed how much she had trained the second song compared to the first one. The first one was ballad, the second one was a really song, really up-tempo, really strong song, and you just noticed that she trained that more. And it felt to me personally, that this is what also happened to Camilla Nyland, because again, this ewig war ich, ewig bin ich, never heard it better, okay? Never ever heard it better. She was so good, it was so beautiful, I cried, wonderful. But then there were scenes like the Oath scene that just fell a little short. That might also just have been the evening, it just might have been that she wasn't in a good mood, whatever. But the same thing happened later. Also, she still has that little, sometimes when she sings. I need to re-listen to that. Like all the stuff is online. I need to re-listen to that if I can find that again, because there was sometimes a little rough patch almost in her voice that I heard. But maybe that's a me thing. Okay. But the same thing, what I wanted to say, happened like during her death, which is again a beast. Brunhilde at all is, the whole thing is a beast. This is not an easy role. This is not something you sing on a rainy day. This is a beast, okay? and there was just, you could feel that like she was holding back in the beginning of her death, so that she would have like the wombs, I would say, that she needed for Fliegt heim ihr Raben, and what follows that, which is like the real high point of the death, and that she again did great, but it felt like she was holding back at times, and this is normal and this is understandable. This is okay. This is really a critique on a high level. Okay, I'm standing her on a pedestal next to Anne Evans, next to Deborah Voigt. Okay, these are my favorite Brunhildes. She's weighed up against them. Okay, so this is really high pressure. Nina Stemme, of course. So anyway, next is Gudrune, Magdalena Hinterdobler, which is a great name for opera, by the way. Might really be funny. So she was, I don't know, she played this role the way I would assume I play it, which is very ironically, because as we all know, Gudrune, I hate Gudrune, first of all, I'm so sorry. I really don't like her. She's like battling with Elsa for #1 in my most hated Wagner roles, but for Elsa we can at least say like she doesn't have an education. She has been very, very heavily influenced by Catholic religion, so it's understandable that she's like, oh, there's a strange guy with a swan who just casually like overpowers the greatest hero we have ever seen, and then he asks me to marry him, and then he says I can never ask him where he came from and who he is. This is great, I'm gonna marry him. Like, at least for her it's naivete. For Gudrune it's like, do you really think that you're that desperate, that as the sister of a king, that you need a love potion to get a guy? That you need him to forget everything the woman he loved, that he ever loved another? Are you that desperate? And she played it very beautifully in the first act. She was very coquette, she was very over the top next to the others. She was also very tiny next to the others. Like, I think that probably Klaus Florian Vogt, she was like this to him, which was also very funny. But I think she wore some kind of boots, heeled boots. But she was very cute. She began to annoy me in Act 2, as usual. But she can't, Magdalena Hinterdobler, she can't really do anything. That's just the role, come on. It's like, it's your fault that my husband's dead. Yeah, I don't want to be that person, but you were really just his bitch. I was his wife. Sorry. I love this. I waited the whole evening for this when Brunhilde says to her, als Buhlerin nur bandest du ihn, sein Mannes Gemahl bin ich. Boom! Take that, Gudrune, okay? And I was like, yes! It was very fun. Anyway. Waltraute Christa Meier. Do I have to say anything? Like, I've actually never seen another Waltraute on stage but her. But she was absolutely fantastic. She got a lot of applause. She got more applause than she did as Erda. She was fantastic. She was wonderful. She was great. And this is like the one thing that I'm a bit sorry about with the Schwarz production, is that didn't give her that holiness. Because obviously for Schwarz, since there are no gods and there is no mythological power and stuff, she doesn't get like this holiness. This, when she talks about Valhalla with Schwarz, I think she broke out of a psychiatric facility and then she tells some tale to get the child. And in this case, it was really, really beautiful, and she got a lot of applause, and I was so happy for her. And I would, of course, because did I say I love her? I might have mentioned it. Okay, good. She's so great. Okay. Anyway, the Norns, can't really say anything about them. I thought the second Norn, Alexandra Ionis, she was really great. She also got like the most applause. She had beautiful mezzo-soprano. I'm waiting for her to like have other roles too. She will become great. So first Norn was Anna Kisjudit, the same lady who sang Fricka. And the third Norn was Magdalena Hinterdobler. Again, Gutone later. What I realized, which was obvious to me personally, but apparently not to others, before Götterdämmerung, you know, Anna Kisjudit, she sang Fricka, and Christa Meyer, she sang Erda. And there were critiques that I read and that I heard like from other goers who were like, yeah, but Christa Meyer, she has a bit too much steel for Erda, and Anna Kisjudit, she has basically too much depth and warmth for Fricka. And this is, first of all, my interpretation, and also what singing teachers have told me, is that the Fach you're in is not necessarily how high your voice can be. For example, this is something that people struggle with me, because I can sing very high, but you see like my speaking voice, and I have a depth in my singing voice that soprano may not usually have. So what singing teachers explained to me was that based on the color of your voice is also in which Fach you belong. And you heard that then in Götterdämmerung, when Anna Kisjudit, she sang the first Norn is an alto role. And Christa Meyer sang Waltraute, who is, as we all know, a mezzo role. And this was such a better fit than Erda and Fricka, and they were good as those. Like Anna Kisjudit was a good Fricka, Christa Meyer was a great Erda. We know that, but they were so much better in their own vicinity. I think that Anna Kisjudit is primarily an alto, Christa Meyer is primarily a mezzo, so they fit so much better. I wish they would have stayed like with the last year's Ring, having Anna Kisjudit again as Erda, because she was so phenomenal as Erda. Like, she got so much applause. She was great. She was really, really, really great. With that voice, like, she filled the whole room. And Christa Meyer, she has this steel that Fricka needs. And I wish they would have stayed with that. They didn't, unfortunately. But, well, just wanted to say that. Okay. By the way, again, this is like what my singing teachers told me. I don't know if that's true, like on a bigger base. Like 4 or 5 people have told me this. I don't know. If you have any other information, please tell me in the comments down below. So, then the Rhine Maidens. They were also great. They have the great disadvantage that they can't move. They didn't move, which they were one of the few. They were some of the few people in Götterdämmerung who also didn't move at all. They were very, very static, unfortunately, but again, like, what were they supposed to do? But they did like this very cool thing when they were bowing. They were all 3 doing like this thing. I might upload, if you want, I can upload like the bows from Bayreuth, like the long video I took. It's like 9 minutes. And then you can see them. Again, you can also see a very, very sweet hug between Klaus Florian Vogt and Christian Thielemann. That was really, really cute. So, you know what the worst thing is? The strongest moments of this Götterdämmerung production were the parts with the orchestral interludes, because they closed the curtain. So you didn't have to see the pictures. Yeah. Sorry. It was some of the strongest things. There was also like when Klaus Florian Vogt, when he died, he like went down on his knees for the first part, and he sang it so beautifully again. I also cried at like his toast that he brought to Brunhilde. Anyway, that was so beautiful. I need this on CD. Please, if anyone from Bayreuth sees this, please make this a CD, not a DVD, please. Make this a CD, and if you're, while you're at it, make the Ring from 2023, 3, not 2, 3. Make this a DVD, please. This would be very nice. I would appreciate it. But please make this a CD, okay? Good. Please, just come on. I don't know what Christian Thielemann does. Maybe he's some kind of magician. I don't know what he gets out of orchestras. This is so amazing, and how he understands the space, how he understands like the technicalities of the house. It's just wow. It's so wonderful. Again, love the drums, like during the repetition of the Rheingold as an orchestral moment in Rheingold. Long story. Love that so much. And what I also loved is that there is, I don't know if you know this, I have to listen to it, of course. In the end, there is like, after Brunhilde dies, or when Brunhilde dies, there's first of all the fire motive, and there's the Rhine motive, and there's the Valhall/Wotan motive, and then there's the love motive. And one after the other goes down, one after the other ends. The first thing that ends is the Rhine. Midgard is the first thing that ends. Humans are the first thing that end. The second thing to end is Valhall/Wotan. He's the second thing to end. And then, then he stopped. There was nothing. A few seconds. And then came this O herstes Wunder. I sat in there and was like, no, don't cry. It was so beautiful. I've never heard it this beautiful. What I don't like, and I had hoped he would do this, what I don't like is when some conductors, like, they go into this and they kind of swoop through, and I had hoped he would just completely give it a rest and be quiet for a few seconds and then start up again, and he did. And I was done for, honestly. There were so many beautiful moments in this that even those pictures couldn't destroy. And I must admit, like, I complained to ChatGPT about this whole thing. I also gave him the pictures, which was so funny. ChatGPT told me that I would grow accustomed to it, and I was like, I will never grow accustomed to this, but I actually did. Maybe it was also because, like, the people were moving more and they were acting more, so I had more to concentrate on, like, below all those horrible pictures. But anyway, so I think my favorite, I'd say my favorite moments, and I must admit, like, normally last year I only saw Rheingold and Valkyrie, okay? So these are normally my go-tos, like, by staging and by story. This time, not at all. This time, Siegfried and Götterdämmerung were so much better. These are my personal favorite moments. Were, first of all, like, when Siegfried's alone in the woods and he thinks about his mother and he thinks about his parents and where he came from. And for once, the pictures were okay. So there was actually a nice little green wood scene, okay? really are thankful for anything. But he sang that so beautifully. It's always, don't want to be mean, but it's the lyrical parts that really got me with Klaus Florian Vogt and Camilla Nyland. These were really the parts where I was like, oh God, don't kill me. Also, I don't know what this instrument is called in French. It's in German it's called an English horn. I think in English it's called a French horn. I'm not sure. Leave it at that. In German it's called an English horn, which is when when Siegfried has like his flute and he tries to imitate the bird. this English horn, it was so amazing. It was so great. It really, everyone laughed at this. Like, it was so funny. I don't know. This thing, like a duck would be so intimidated by that. Duck would say, "What can he do that I can't?" It was so great. So this was one of my favorite scenes. Then, ewig war ich, ewig bin ich. So beautiful. Did I already say that I also loved the way that Camilla Nyland, like, she sang the Heuer to Ho part, because she actually stayed on the high note at the end instead of like Heuer to Ho. Which I don't know why some people do that. I don't know. I'm personally more of a Heuer to Ho. Like, if you stay on it longer, and she did that, which I'm grateful for. I'm sorry for the singing, by the way. I haven't sang in quite a while because apparently they thought that my part, the part where I live in Munich, doesn't need traffic anymore, so I'm basically stuck, more or less. I can't get to singing because even before it took me like an hour or something, and now I don't think I would get there in under 2 hours, and if even, because everything's closed. Like, there's so much stuff, like this is closed and this is closed and this is, subway is closed, S-Bahn is closed, this is closed, what the heck. Anyway, can't get there, unfortunately. So I'm sorry for the singing. Anyway, yeah, ewig war ich, ewig bin ich. Then the toast of Siegfried killed me again. It killed me. And of course the Heu Ho bei Hagen, amazing. Just staying with the great musical moments. If I would like get through every little thing, then we would be here tomorrow. And then of course then der fliegt heim ihr Raben at the end. So anyway, my merch. So I bought a little bit of merch. So what I bought first is this Wagner Wahn thing. It's a quartet where you have to, where it's like all the different roles in different different theater things, and you have to like get them together. Also, I'm personally like, if you know who did these, I would like to have a word with whoever thought that Brangäne having 3 points for music out of 5 was a good idea. Same goes for Ortrud. Same goes for Kundry, by the way. Just saying. So this is fun. Like Brünnhilde and Siegfried, they have a death factor of 5, which I love. Anyway. Also, I got this, which is like this Wagner-Heldinnen thing. It's also in English, which is great. Berühmte Isolden und Brünnhilden aus einem Jahrhundert. A century of great Isoldes and Brünnhildes. Let's be real, I bought it because of Christa Meyer. Wrong Meyer again. Waltraud Meyer. So now I've got a Freudian slip in both directions. Waltraud Meyer, okay? So, and Christian Thielemann with a foreword by the brilliant Wagnerian conductor Christian Thielemann, which I can't say anything against that. Okay. Then I bought t-shirts because I'm a sucker for Wagnerian t-shirts. I have like this many with different stuff on the back, on the front, like Wahn, Wahn, überall Wahn, and these things. So these are a special edition for this year. They have like this little 150-year thingy, and on the back they have this. This is like the Rheingold t-shirt, shockingly. And you can like make a screenshot or get this yourself. Honestly, get this yourself. It's so fun. I love this. Maybe it's on the internet. I would hope so. So this is Rheingold. This is Valkyrie. I loved also that they made Brünnhilde a redhead. I don't know. Personally, my favorite Brünnhildes, as I said, Deborah Voigt and Anne Evans, they've been redheads. So I'm good with that. I wanted to buy this for my mom because this was a great critique the last time that there was no worm or no dragon physically on stage. But she didn't want me to. And yeah, I think this is just hilarious. Especially like look how Grane looks. He's like, what the heck is going on there? It's just fun, okay? And this is my favorite. This is my favorite t-shirt. If I would have just bought one, which I couldn't, I couldn't do it. This would have been the one that I kept. This is Götterdämmerung. This is just so great. First of all, look at Hagen. Look at how he gets drowned there. Isn't this beautiful? And we have also like Siegfried's surprised thing when he gets killed. And also this. This is just, I like Gudrune, we know her. And then this like lightning bolt thing between her eyes and Siegfried's. This is very fun. I love this. It's also kind of an insider because there is nothing about this where it says that this is poisoned so that Siegfried falls in love with Gudrune, unfortunately. And that this is not Gunther but Siegfried. But anyway, it's still fun. And I love it. So this, I think, was all the merch already. Which is really little compared to what I normally go out with that. So, yeah. After this, I'm going to like give you those two pictures, which are like how Camilla Nyland and Klaus Florian Vogt, how they looked at each other, how they hugged, which we would have needed earlier, and also like the clip where Christian Thielemann bows for the second time alone, and then the whole team comes out. I also want to say there were two people screaming bravo when the team came out. They sat next to me. So if you hear the bravo, this is not because the whole everyone screamed that, but because literally the two people next to me, literally next to my microphone, they screamed that. Okay. Anyway, you know it. Yeah. This was the ring this year. Next year, I am seeing all four things that are being played next year, which is the new Lohengrin, which I'm very skeptical about, and if I would have had the choice, I would not have gone there. But they changed one of the packages, and I originally wanted the package 3, where Meistersinger is in, and Parsifal is in, and Tannhäuser is in. But they changed it to Lohengrin, Parsifal, and Tannhäuser. And I wanted to go to Meistersinger, and not Lohengrin. So I have to go to all four next year. So again, this is the new Lohengrin next year. Then it's the new Parsifal. It's with Thielemann. It's with Neo Rauch. It's with Rosa Loy. It can only be good, okay? At least it's gonna be beautiful, which we are very thankful for. And it's gonna be the old Tannhäuser, which I missed the last time, as in I had a terrible cold and I stupidly left the room like 20 minutes into the third act, or 10 minutes into the third act, and I had to stay outside because I couldn't be let back in, which is completely valid, but I'm still kind of cross with it. If my mom doesn't get tickets herself for Tannhäuser, I'm going to give it to her because she loves Tannhäuser. It's a favorite. And the fourth is Meistersinger. Yay! Wonderful. I love it. It's also called the premiere package, which is weird because the only premiere that is in this package is Meistersinger. It's not even a premiere, it's like the reboot of the thing of last year, which I'm very grateful for that I'm gonna see next year. I'm happy for that. Very love it. Yeah, I hope Christa Meyer is gonna be there next year. I think Klaus Florian Vogt is at least gonna sing Walter von Stolzing. So I'm good with that. And hopefully Christa Meyer will do something. I would want to say, if not, I'm not going there, but I think she's gonna be there. Okay, let's hope on. So, since I've now talked about this for an hour, yeah, have a nice day, have a nice time. For if in case anyone who's currently in Bayreuth or as a singer or who's gonna sing in the ring, like still, if any one of those see this, I'm so sorry if I like jumped the gun or something, or if I was mean or anything. Just say it how I see it. It's my opinions, and kudos to everyone, because my respect for everything you do, for the roles you get to learn, and everything for what you're able to do. I could never, and that's okay. So, have a nice day, have a nice time. Don't melt in the sun too much, which I'm probably gonna do within the next 3 minutes. So, okay, bye.